Hello folks, it's Buckle6 back with some more 4-color Loam content. Um, since I've made my last video, I made a couple small changes to the deck. The first one being that I'm now playing, let me get this away, a 4th Abrupt Decay, which replaced the Dismember. Originally the Dismember was there for slightly faster decks, where my mana was constrained, like Infect and DNT, and I felt that those matchups were less bad these days. And also, I like the effect against creatures that were larger, like Eldrazi, but now with Swords of Plowshares, there's just less of a need for that. So I'm trying out the 4th Abrupt Decay just as an increase in consistency. And also, I'm playing a 3rd Grove of the Burnwillows. I've wanted to play 3 for a while, but it's difficult to find room. I'm not going to cut the combo. It wins me too many games. I'm not going to cut like Stir and Wildwood because it gives me inevitability in certain situations. So I ended up cutting down to 5 fetch lands. I expect this to make my access to colored mana a little bit worse, but like 2.5 years ago, I did play with 5 fetch lands for a while. It wasn't ideal, obviously, because I then switched to 6, but it was workable for quite a while. Another change is I'm perpetually unhappy with the Grave Hate options available to this deck. So right now I'm trying 2 Containment Priest instead of whatever else. I mean, the most reasonable, uh, best actual option is Leyline of the Void, but it eats up 3 slots, and I really don't think there's 3 sideboard slots worth of Graveyard Hate out there right now. Maybe that's just my meta. Maybe if I were to take this to a larger tournament, I'd be more afraid of Red Black Reanimator, and in that case, I would be playing the ley lines. And also, uh, Mirren is just super insane, but I wanted another card against mid range, so I'm playing both Mirren and Garruk. Most people play only one of this sort of card, most favoring Garrett because it also does good things against Miracles. I've never had a problem beating Miracles, so I tend to lean on Marin. Let's see, that's all of the changes. Yeah, nothing else here is new. So now I'm just gonna pause the video until we get a match. All right, so it looks like we won the die roll, and we get an opener of 1 land, 1 wax diamond. Otherwise, like a decent amount of answers and threats. We're gonna mulligan this because we can't play anything as is. This is a little better. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn 1 Gadok Teague, and then I'm gonna play out Stirring Wildwood and have that be my threat. This hand's like not strong, and that makes it a lot better. I'm probably repeating myself from past videos, but I'm always looking for a strong game plan, including ideally a threat in my opening hands. This didn't have one, but or not a very good one, but it was all right otherwise. Under certain circumstances, I could see these two being creatures consistently, so I could attack for like reasonable amounts of damage. Just this loses to a fair number of decks, so I wasn't expecting this to be like super great. It also helps that my opponent's name is Belcher Storm. Not that this is Belcher or Storm, given the cards we just saw. Oh, it's always sweet when our opponent's discard just blanks like that. And yeah, we really lucked into a game plan with Sylvan Library. And I'm going to play Stirring Wildwood because that increases the clock if we find another land. And if we don't find a land, we're probably finding spells, which are even better. Okay, that's pretty bad for us, as we were relying on that card, but that's okay. Uh, this is also not ideal because Galactic turns it off. So I guess we're just playing Dryad Arbor and passing. This is probably some sort of Shardless bug, which is cool because I haven't played that matchup in a while. I'm curious to see how my recent changes to the deck affect it. So far, I mean, we're sort of being punished by the loose keep that we made, but the alternative was going to 5 because we couldn't have kept that 7. That 7 just didn't cast magic cards. Yep, definitely Shardless bug. So we actually want this Galactic off the board because our best out to this is a Chalice on 0. But failing that, we could answer the Tarmogoyf with Decay and get in for some damage. Current outlook is not great, but there has been some discussion recently on the forums about how to play this matchup, and some of the advice was just line up your Abrupt Decays with their Tarmogoyfs, and everything else you can Punishing Fire away, which is true, and that's what this may come down to. Sure. I don't know what was that all about. Did my opponent just wasteland me? Okay, there might be some weird glitch or something. I felt like that happened twice. All right, let's see if we get another Abrupt Decay. If our opponent attacks, I think we just block with Galactic so that we can then Zenith out a Knight. Yeah. It is nice to note that we got them all the way down to 9 right now. But there's plenty of things that loses the game right now. So this is not the best of plans. Any discard is really bad for us. The opponent having a Jace in their hand is pretty bad for us. Lots and lots of stuff. Liliana is actually not the worst. I could have sworn it did block here. But okay, that's fine, I guess. It's not good, but that's fine. And suddenly things got way more aggressive. Huh. That would be nice. Soon. So I guess we just kill this now in order to not let it untap and deal damage to us. We're chump blocking one of these, and that'll make it seem like a less suicidal block. And then, so we also have the option, should we choose it, of getting, I was going to say of getting Scavenging Ooze. However, there is not a lot of, sorry, let me just make sure this block goes through. Right, so one alternate line of play is we could, what is this? We could get a Scavenging Ooze. In that case, we can eat 2 creatures, make it a 4/4, 3 creatures over several turns. The alternative is we can get a knight. Right, the knight's going to be a 4/4, so we can't block the Tarmogoyfs. But we do have Thespian Stage. We could win sort of quickly, but I think our best bet is actually spending 3 mana, having 2 available. Is there anything that is sort of alone as a type? We can shrink both of them by eating a Sylvan Library. And I think there's only 1 sorcery. No, there's 2 sorceries. There's multiple instants. There's obviously multiple lands. I can't eat all the creatures because I need 3 mana for that. I only have 2. So I'm going to eat Library and a Deathrite Shaman. I'm going to go up to 11, take 8, 9, 10, and hopefully survive it. Oh, no. I'm going to have to block with Dryad Arbor as well. So this is really slim chances of winning here because our opponent could have just about anything, and that would be really bad for us. But I'm not seeing a better option here. So we sort of chump block with the Dryad Arbor and just gain life with Scavenging Ooze. That's also really bad for us. Let's see. Yeah, I think we do want to gain life with Scavenging Ooze as much as possible because the other option is to get rid of the Sylvan Library, but that doesn't grow Scavenging Ooze. It prevents 1 damage this turn, but it doesn't grow Scavenging Ooze. And basically any answer from our opponent here means we lost the game. Yep, that's pretty bad. Okay, well, the upside is, at the very least, the Deathrite Shaman doesn't have mana to deal us 2 damage this turn. So I'm going to respond to this by making a green mana and then activating this. And now, well, okay, let's see if I eat Sylvan Library. This is 8 damage, this is 9 damage. But the Deathrite Shaman's not attacking. I always have the option to eat it later, so I'm just going to eat this Deathrite Shaman right now. Right, because we have this green up. So this wasn't that bad, I don't think. Like an Abrupt Decay would have been way worse for us. Just those two. I can't afford to block because then I just lose the game. I'll eat, so I can gain 1 life by eating a creature, or I can basically gain 2 life by eating the Sylvan Library, which I'll go ahead and do. And then I don't need to chump block. I hope my opponent has played a land this turn. That might not be the case. They might have a Black Sorcerer sandbagging in order to just kill me, but I can't play around that. Cool. Okay, so we got out of that turn alive. So what's the most life we can gain here? We can eat 2 of our creatures, 1 of theirs. Go up to 5 life. Attack for 7. But we'll almost certainly need to be on defense and hoping our opponent doesn't have removal. If our opponent had removal, we would have died last turn. So we can be relatively sure that they don't. There's nothing, no like single thing besides all the creatures that we can eat. There's, I guess I'm just not gonna count. I'm gonna eat all the creatures and see if that's enough. The Deathrite Shaman could have denied that to me, but I guess they chose not to. Yeah, there's no point attacking anything really. It's gonna suck next turn when Lily will have enough to kill me. Actually, this is also enough to kill me, so I have to leave it back. Right, if I could, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 sorceries, 1, 2, 3, 4 instants, infinite lands. These Tarmogoyfs are never getting smaller. I mean, they are, but over like multiple turns, which we can't be thinking that far ahead. We have to survive on a turn-by-turn basis, basically. Like we kind of need to draw something in order to not be awful. Okay, that's another Liliana they're casting, which means that um, this creature dies. We don't have another Dryad Arbor, so yeah, we lose here, which is not unexpected. So now, as per the conversation on the forum, we can, which is something. I mean, I think I agree with it, but I'm gonna try it out and see how it works for me. Generally, I like keeping in the chalices so we can um, get rid of their draw threes, but we can basically deal with anything that isn't Tarmogoyf. Is the idea. So if we just save our removal for their Tarmogoyfs, we should be in good shape. Here's our anti-mid-range cards. Here's more removal. What do we cut? So we can cut Pride Mage. Pride Mage is an okay card. It's not an amazing card. We can certainly cut like 1 or 2 Mox Diamonds. Let's go with 2. Punishing Fire is how we lock out the rest of their stuff. Garak Teague does actual nothing. I mean, I guess they play Force sometimes, but we're not interested in denying them Forces. This is 60 right now. We could also think about these 2 cards. They have enough targets for X-Age, but since we're keeping Pride Mage in, I don't think we need that. It just snags creatures that already died to Punishing Fire. Choke I like, because it's like double or triple Stone Rain. But in that case, we would need to find something to cut. And let's cut a Scrubland. At some point, I remember thinking that we should go down a land in these matchups started. To avoid getting flooded. We're keeping this. We can Wasteland plus Bob on turn 2, which is always attractive. We have this Toxic Deluge, which is a bit of a nombo with the plan we're taking right now, but it's fine to just have this as a reset button. Bob surviving isn't a guarantee. Perfect. Okay, so we can get rid of the carpet, setting them back to nothing, and us still at turn 2, basically. And now we have a 2-drop. They have 0 magic cards in play for a little while. And cool. I'm going to aggressively play out Choke because I want to punish cantripping and playing Ancestral Visions and other such darling. And if this hits an Abrupt Decay, I'm okay because that means Dark Confidant's living. And it'll take 2 turns for that to happen anyway. Whereas if I don't do that and I leave up Punishing Fire, the opponent might just play a Tarmogoyf and suddenly they're back in the game, whereas here they're still not. Okay. This turns off 3 of my cards? Or I guess fetch lands as well, right? Yeah. Okay, I guess that worked. Running back to the exact same list. Oh, I think the opponent
Your
just
game
oh, okay. we finished sideboarding first. That's what happened. This is a pretty awful hand. I don't like mulliganing in the green-black mirror. But it just has nothing until turn 4. You can't do that. This is I'm on the draw. I get a scry, so I'm gonna keep it. Hopefully I find a black source. That's just a redraw, right? I'll put it on the bottom. This might not be correct. Technically, it's the same number of draws with and without. I'm basically giving them 1 life for the chance to have that card being in my graveyard matter. Excellent. So I'm going to play out this fetch, let them do whatever, and then play Bob or Decay. This the presence of Deathrite Shaman is just super important in these matchups. Huh. Is my opponent mana screwed? Interesting. So I could play Bob, or I'm going to play out another Windswept Heath so that next turn I can untap and deluge away whatever they play. This is kind of a risky line. I mean, I could have played Bob, giving them 1 mana source, giving them up to 2 mana, then they could play like a Strix or a Goyf, like some stuff that I'm not gonna enjoy. But instead they have just these 2 Deathrite Shamans. So I'm gonna get this 2 for 1 and strand my opponent at just 1 mana. As an alternative, he has Abrupt Decay now, untap, and no, I'm gonna deluge them away. This like basically plays at sorcery speed, so they can have a brainstorm or whatever. Let's see, I want a second black source to be wasteland proof. But I boarded out my black-white land. I don't have other non-bayou lands, so I guess I'll just get another bayou. It'll look like it's easy to cut me off of both these colors, and it's easy to cut me off white. But that's actually also okay. I can't imagine there being anything that incentivizes me to pay more life here. Generally with Deluge, it's, if you can, it's really good to overpay, but I can't see it mattering at all here. Like against, Merfolk or whatever, you can pay 1 or 2 extra life to prevent 1 or 2 blowouts. And I'm assuming that Brainstorm finds them a second land drop. Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay, well, opponent get mana screw, which is kind of unfortunate for them. But, okay, well, that's something.